The UN Security Council is mulling a new draft resolution on Syria, which Russia is putting forward. It condemns all sides in the ongoing conflict, calling for violence to stop. But there's no mention of sanctions. The Kremlin's UN envoy says the balanced draft should be passed.
We made no secret of the fact, and it is reflected in the text, that we call on violence to be stopped from all sides. We're concerned about weapon smuggling and the armed groups operating in Syria. As you know, from the outset, our assessment of the situation was that various violent groups were taking advantage of peaceful demonstrators in order to pursue their agenda. So those concerns are reflected in the draft resolution, but there is also very strong language in terms of no impunity and support for human rights, and the need to stop violence and make sure that the transgressions do not go unnoticed.
Well, Russia has been actively trying to mediate a peaceful solution for months. Syria's vice president will hold talks with officials in Moscow on Friday. There's little let-up in the violence, which most recently saw deserters gun down more than 24 officers. The Free Syrian Army claims to have more than 25,000 troops fighting to bring down President Assad. Western nations still refuse to acknowledge that anti-regime protesters are armed. US-based military whistleblower Sibel Edmonts says Washington is siding with the opposition to force regime change.
They have had this division to train the rebels there. They also help the rebels smuggle arms into Syria, but also they have a communication division there in order to actually increase the number of defectors from the current Syrian army. It's not some kind of simultaneously uprising situation where people are rebelling and then suddenly they are mysteriously armed, and mysteriously arms are being smuggled into Syria from Turkey. Well, who's providing these arms? Well, these are U.S. arms shipped to Turkey, and from Turkey it's being smuggled into Syria. We went through this with Iraq. We went through this with Libya. We went through this with so many wars that we have had since 9/11, and this fits the pattern we have had before. You don't start anything without prep. At least that's not the case with the United States military. You start doing the prep work. Well, this prep work started in May 2011 in case of Syria.